Hi, this is Enthusiastic Steve and welcome to a next level mobile antenna test. This is somewhat of an old school versus new school test. Two big names in mobile antennas. The first, a classic for the past 40 years, and the newcomer. Allow me to introduce you to the K40 and the Striker A10. I'm going to take a close look at these two antennas, test them out on a car, mobile, and see which, once and for all, is the better antenna. Will the K40 hold its crown, or does the new kid on the block have something special to offer? First up is the legendary K40. I should imagine a lot of you are familiar with the K40. It's been around for a long time. But did you know how it got its name, the K40? Well, it's actually named after one of the highest summits in the mountain range in the Himalayas, the K Peak. And it was named that way to represent the highest performance possible. Now, once again, I've dug into my case of nostalgic CB magazines, and I found this original advert from back in the late 70s, early 80s. They were quoting the three main reasons why it was the best antenna at the time. Number one, it's the most expensive. Now, not normally a selling point, is it? You really want a cheaper version. But they were basically saying it's expensive because it's well made. And that was number two. It's made better. They always ensured the best available materials were used in the construction of these antennas. And the manufacturing of each antenna followed strict guidelines, so they were almost identical, keeping to a very high quality. And number three, it's proven the best. Now, this came about by just the users, the feedback they were getting. Everybody fell in love with this antenna. It was a performer. Now, personally, I must admit, I was never a great lover of the K40 antenna. It had the looks, yes, but it was quite short. I was always a great believer that a proper quarter wave whip, or something like the Texas 1800 antenna, which is about 7 foot tall, would always outperform a shorter antenna. The actual antenna, the K40, is not that tall at all. But if you go back to one of my other videos where I did an antenna test with a certain amount of mobile antennas, you will see the results. And I was very surprised. The K40 came out on top, beating all the other antennas out there. Just to prove how popular antenna this was, I had a further browse through the old magazines, and you didn't have to venture far to start seeing adverts on many pages. Many dealers across the UK were stocking the K40. Enough on the K40, let's take a look at its competitor. The Striker A10. Now, this antenna was being sold under the guise that it was a superior performer. It had efficiency and durability. And this one to test the old grey matter. Any idea what it was named after? Well, they named it after the A10 Warthog, the American Air Force tank buster, with its Gatling gun. Resembles the actual body of the actual antenna. Using substantial components, it can handle allegedly up to 10,000 watts of power. To assist its performance, the coil was silver plated to aid conductivity. And a lot of effort had gone into making it a waterproof antenna for all seasons. Now, I will come on to this a little bit more towards the end of the video, because I think this antenna has got a bit of an Achilles heel. You will notice that there are holes down the side, little windows, but they are waterproof. We'll talk more about that later. So let's take a closer look at both antennas and get on with an on-air test. I drove up to the local hill, Portsdown. In the background there is Nelson's Monument, and got the K40 out and mounted it on the roof. Now, these antennas, you can mount them on a mag mount, or you can actually come with a normal clamp to fix them elsewhere on your vehicle. This is not a massive antenna. Total overall height is 57 inches in old money, or 144.7 centimetres. The coil itself is very compact, as you can see here being held in my hand, but please note the base. It's a unique base for the K40. It will not fit to a standard mount. When you compare the K40 directly with the Stryker, you can see how substantially larger the Stryker body is. Now, the on-air tests are only about 2.5 kilometres apart, but I get so much attenuation. There are these two faults between me and my home base, and here you can see the actual terrain map. I'm going through a lot of earth. The antennas are definitely not line of sight, so a real challenge for any RF.
So the first test is the K40. I'm using the President McKinley and a static D104 hand microphone. Got the antenna on the roof, and here we go. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Charlie Tango 2064. Doing a test on channel 20 UK FM. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using the President McKinley, a static D104 microphone, and talking via a K40 mag mount antenna. This is the K40 mag mount antenna being received home base by the Midland home base radio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the K40. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Charlie Tango 2064. Doing a test on channel 20 UK FM. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using the President McKinley, a static D104 microphone, and talking via a K40 mag mount antenna. This is the K40 mag mount antenna being received home base by the Midland home base radio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So now the Striker. The whole antenna with stainless whip is approximately 180 centimetres long. In this image you can clearly see the windows. There is a form of plastic inside. And here you can see why it looks like a Gatling gun. And the body has a standard screw on, so it screws onto the base, or other bases are available. When you compare the coax feeds to both these antennas, you will notice that the Stryker does appear to be using a much better, more quality coax. The K40 comes with approximately 17 feet of a coax cable already attached, and the Stryker approximately about 6 inches less. So now with the Stryker firmly attached to the top of the car, let's do the next test.
Right, now a little bit more windswept. It's quite breezy, quite chilly day out there today. I've now put the Striker A10 onto the roof of the car. Exactly the same test, same radio, same microphone, same position. Mag mount is on the same place in the car. So we'll give the Striker A10 a try, and then we'll see what it sounds like later on the Midland home base at home. Charlie Tango 2064. This is Charlie Tango 2064. Testing on channel 20 UK FM. Testing the Striker A10. The Striker A10 mobile antenna. This is a bit of a beastie of an antenna, bigger than the K40 in height and stature. And we're just testing it out now on the home base in Midland, which we'll listen to in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test over. And that was the Striker A10.
Charlie Tango 2064. This is Charlie Tango 2064. Testing on channel 20 UK FM. Testing the Striker A10. The Striker A10 mobile antenna. This is a bit of a beastie of an antenna, bigger than the K40 in height and stature. And we're just testing it out now on the home base in Midland, which we're going to listen to in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test over.
So let's take a look at those results. The K40, a signal 4. The Striker A10 also appears to be around a signal 4. It's a very close call, but let's zoom in. And dare I say, the Striker A10 wins it by a thickness of a needle, knocking the K40 off its top spot. Truly a next level antenna, the Striker A10. Now, before you all go smashing up your piggy banks and rushing off and ordering a Striker A10, let me just tell you about that Achilles heel I mentioned earlier. I mentioned the windows on the Striker. They're there for a reason. It's because this thing actually lights up when you transmit. The big problem is the LED lights inside are blue. Now here in the UK, our emergency services use blue lights, and they frown upon anybody using a blue light on their car, especially when it appears to be flickering or flashing. So if you're going to be using this at night on a hilltop, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. You may want to somehow cover these lights over. Well, thank you very much again for watching one of my videos and supporting the Enthusiastic Steve channel. Please click the likes and subscribe because it helps the algorithms on YouTube. And I'll leave you with a few audio clips from Top of the Hill. A little quick call on Channel 19 and some of the old American Super Bowl channel booming through here in the UK. All the best, 73s. This has been Enthusiastic Steve. Channel 19 for a quick radio check, please. Lovely. Thank you very much for the lovely jubbly. Just out mobile, top of Portsdown Hill, just testing out the old twig.
Suburban